together. As Nigerians take stock of the highs and the lows of the Buhari-led government, the expectations are high of the Tinubu-led government.
Well, tomorrow is a very important day in the history of our country. Tomorrow is the beginning of the 7th consecutive democratic transition. A lot is being expected from the incoming administration. The most important expectation is national unity and national cohesion. We have to bring the country together far more than ever before. The second expectation is the security of life and property.
When it comes to accounting, what I can employ a woman, once you are given an appointment to stand there for other women, make sure the truth is there. So for such women, I will stand up for that. But don't get appointed and just stay and buy designer bags. Do the right thing. So I'll do as much as I can to support that and get it. And my husband is women friendly.
There is hope because our incoming president assured us that there is hope. He will ensure that the 35% affirmative action is given to Nigerian women.
Nigeria must believe in the president-elect, Suanjo Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because Nigeria will be totally transformed. And I am speaking to Nigeria to be very, very calm. And the Christian community, all religious leaders, to work together with Suanjo Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
And with this church service announcing the end of an 8-year administration, as well as welcoming another 4 years of administration for the incoming government, one thing that everyone is optimistic about is that the new government would be able to focus attention on areas such as security, education, and infrastructure, as well as other areas that need urgent or immediate help. From the National Christian Center here in Abuja, Mary Chinda reporting for Arise News. Well, let's return back to the State House hall, of course, where the inauguration did ongoing. Of course, we are watching the National Cultural Troupe. They are entertaining the guests. Of course, earlier on we did hear from the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have seen that President Muhammadu Buhari, as well as his vice and their spouses, are currently attending this event. So let's go back and enjoy.
Please would like to have some quiet in the hall. Your Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please permit me to stand by the existing protocols. Just day before yesterday, you were at the permanent site for the commissioning of the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. In the course of that program, the President of the Senate did allude to the fact that in 8 years of your administration, you've assented to most bills since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. I think President Muhammadu Buhari deserves a big round of applause. You have done that not only assenting to bills, you've also done that by the reforms you've brought about by way of infrastructure. And just the day before yesterday, Nigerian Air, which a lot of people thought was a mirage, has come to fruition. President Muhammadu Buhari deserves yet another round of applause. Your Excellency, if time were on your hands, I know that the many projects you have at hand to commission, that you have commissioned quite a good number. We're also not in doubt at all that the President-elect will continue with the trajectory just as you have also done with the promises he has made to Nigeria. May I, at this juncture, tell you, Your Excellency, that your critics will thank you later. Thank you very much for your kind attention. It is at this point in time, therefore, that I have the singular privilege and honor to invite to the podium the 15th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to please address us and his guests at this point.
Thank you very much. Please sit down. Thank you. Dear First Lady, my wife, Presidents and heads of government here present, Your Excellency the Vice President and the spouse, President-elect and his spouse, Vice President-elect and his spouse, the President of the Senate, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chief Justice of the Federation, State Governors, members of the National Assembly, members of Federal Executive Council, members of Diplomatic Corps, Service Chiefs and Inspector General of Police, heads of security and intelligence agencies, captains of industry, religious leaders, traditional rulers, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I have spoken at length on record, and it has been broadcasted this evening and maybe first thing in the morning. I am here to thank you very much, especially the various heads of state in Africa that have come to share this time with us to congratulate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his wife as the elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and his vice president and his wife, who was a two-time governor in his state and managed to come to Senate to rest. I said so because something spectacular happened in our political development. 10 serving governors failed to make it to the Senate. This is unprecedented in Nigerian politics. For a serving governor to fail to win election in his base. But we should look at it positively. It means Nigerians are very much aware of their powers once there is authority that their votes count. How can a serving governor who served for 8 years in his state constituency to go to the Senate? This used to be unprecedented, but it has happened in Nigeria. We are very happy with this achievement. I congratulate you, the governors that are elected, and I congratulate fellow Nigerians who have realized their power, that their votes count. I'm looking forward to tomorrow to fly to my base and go back to my cows and sheep, which are much easier to control than fellow Nigerians. But I have to reduce their number because I cannot save enough to buy them feeds. Your Excellencies, heads of states and governments, and their representatives that come to share this day with us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. And I said goodbye to you, and I wish us the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A beautiful farewell speech delivered by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for blessing us with you. On this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of tonight's event. Before we go, we're going to be taking the group photograph, and the photo session before the national anthem will go in this order: the President, Vice President, wife of the President, wife of the Vice President, as well as President-elect.
Live pictures coming from the State House Banquet Hall. Of course, the State House inauguration dinner ongoing. And just moments ago, we did listen to President Muhammadu Buhari, who is still reiterating the fact that he cannot wait to get back to his farm in Daura in Katsina State. And of course, he did make that joke about how, his cattle seem to be easier to manage than Nigerians. And of course, he says he had to reduce the number because, feeding them will not be child's play. But of course, a very chipper President Muhammadu Buhari there, eventually ended with a goodbye and good luck to Nigerians. Yes, we are live here on Arise News, bringing you all the live hits from the State House Banquet dinner, which of course is about to wrap up. But let's come back to the studio here and take a look at some other stories. Well, earlier on, we did tell you that three former presidents of Nigeria, that's former presidents and heads of state, including General Ibrahim Babangida, have been speaking with us, and Ibrahim Babangida is calling on the incoming president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to see himself as a president of Nigeria and a president of all. Let's take a listen to the excerpts of that interview.
First of all, I want to congratulate the country for going through this process of democratization, which is quite good. For the incoming administration, I'd like to congratulate the President and his Vice President. I know that the President is a very skillful politician. He needs all his political skills to unite a polarized nation. He needs it, and I wish him well as far as that is concerned. Secondly, the country is rich with a lot of economic experts, economic advisors. There are so much that some of them are serving other countries. He should bring them together to help him manage the economy of this country. Thirdly, my advice also to him will be, as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, he needs to have a good look at the Armed Forces, to reorient them, retrain them, and reorganize them for this, because he is the Commander-in-Chief. He has to do that, because the Armed Forces had undergone a lot of processes that needs to be put together and make it an efficient, well-led armed forces. His fourth area that I believe we should pay attention to in the public service, it needs reorganization, reorientation, and so on. is by no means a very Herculean task. But as I said, he is a very skillful politician, and he will need all this political skill to bring about to bear on these areas that I touched.
Do you have any advice, so to speak, for his opponents at this time?
Well, they are all Nigerians, and whatever anybody does for the good of Nigeria, I think there should be no opposition. It should be accepted.
Good. So, looking at the democracy, Nigeria since 1999, how would you, assess the evolution of the democratic process since that period of time from that?
And the evolution is good. It started very good, but, and this is a very strong but, there are a lot of mishaps of the process. For example, monetization of the process, I think, is not good enough. We should try to avoid that. We should try to concentrate on issues that are good for the country and good for the people of this country. And you judge and assess people based on their credibility, their background, and also their knowledge.
So, following from what you just said now, what do you think we can do to enhance our electoral process? We just saw the 2023 general elections. It came with some of its own flaws and issues. What do you think we can do moving forward to ensure that we have, a better electoral process?
Well, I think we have to reform the contest. For example, we talked about voter education, but I think we should go further. I believe that we had 95 million registered voters, according to what, but those who voted are far less than half of the population. I think if we say, for example, based on what we have, 45 million voters registered, we ought to have at least 95 million voters registered. We ought to have at least 45 million, half of those that voted, to be an acceptable standard of. If we don't reach that, I think there is nothing wrong in doing a rerun.
Why do you think people are not turning out for elections in the country? From what you just said.
Yeah, well, I also feel there is too much work on INEC, too much burden. When you talk of voter education, you should allow the people, the institutions, whose job it is to educate the people in the country. INEC may not be the necessary body to do that. There are bodies within there are institutions within our country that should be able to provide that education to the voters. So we should allow them to do it. I think it will increase the number of people who are going to participate in this.
So, the new government, the new administration is coming at a time when Nigeria seems to be faced with a lot of challenges in the economic front. High inflation, unemployment, reduced foreign direct investment. As someone who has taken charge of this country, what advice do you have for the incoming administration on how best they can tackle some of these issues?
Like I said earlier, this country is blessed. We have virtually answers to every problem as far as human resources are concerned. The economy, I told you, We have the best in the country, so much that some of them are serving other countries. We should tap them, we should bring them and use them to help the new administration redesign the whole economic process. We tried it, and I know it's tough, but we succeeded now. Looking back, thank God on the measures we have put in place today, people are enjoying the free market drive.
As someone who has been in charge of Nigeria, tell us how
2 times.
Yes, 2 times. Now, tell us exactly how tough is the job of being Nigeria's leader?
Tough?
Yes, how tough is it?
No, people see it as tough, but once you realize that you have got very bright citizenship who will always tell you, who will always disagree with you, then it's not going to be tough, because you know you can expect them, you can expect what they are going to say. Once you know that, you make it simpler for yourself.
Now, what would be your wishes for the new administration, your best wishes for the new administration?
I wish them well, and I wish them, for everything they do, they think Nigeria first, and the welfare of the Nigerians should remain paramount in their minds.